Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another in our series of SAT Math Prep videos. This is number 3. Each one of these videos is going to have 3 to 4 problems, just so you can do them in small, manageable chunks. You don't have to watch a really long video. This is going to be the section of SAT Math where you don't use a calculator. Don't let that bother you, though. The problems are designed where you really don't need a calculator. When I'm going through these, if you would pause the video before the problem solution is there, try it on your own, get as far as you can, and complete the problem if you can, and then come back, unpause it, and see what the solution is. All right, we're going to dive right in now. Here's the first problem. So just pause the video right now and give this a try, and then come back when you're done. Okay, so it says if in right triangle ABC with right angle C, the sine of A equals 3 over 5, then what is the value of sine B? Now, every word in this is important. It's always a good idea to underline stuff when you're taking your test. You're allowed to write your test booklet. So right triangle ABC. It's also a good idea to draw a sketch of whatever you're working on. It helps you to visualize it. Okay, that's my freehand sketch there. Right triangle means it has a right angle. So we're going to mark the right angle there. They tell you that the right angle is C and that the sine of A is 3 over 5. Now it doesn't matter if we put the A on top or the B on the bottom or switch them. So we're going to look at angle A, which is this one right here. Now, one of the key things that you need to memorize for this SAT is that the sine of an angle is equal to the length of the opposite side divided by the length of the hypotenuse. Now, the hypotenuse is always the longest side of the right triangle. It's actually opposite the right angle. Okay, so in this case, sine A being opposite over hypotenuse, the opposite side to angle A is BC. So let's put, since we're talking that this is 3 over 5, then we'll just put a 3 where the opposite would be. And then the hypotenuse is a 5, so we put a 5 there. They want you to tell what is the sine of B. The sine of B is going to be the opposite from angle B, which is this AC over here. So that sine of AC, or excuse me, sine of B is going to be AC over AB. Now we already know what AB is. It's the hypotenuse. We don't know what AC is, but we can use the Pythagorean theorem, which would say that BC squared plus AC squared equals AB squared. So BC squared would be 3 squared. AC squared, we don't know yet. And AB squared is 5 squared. So this is going to be 9 plus AC squared equals 25. Subtract 9 from both sides. We have AC squared equals 16. So AC is 4. So coming back over here, the sine of B is going to be 4 over 5, which is answer B. Now there's something else you could have used. If you remember what a Pythagorean triple is, it's where you take the three sides of a right triangle and they end up being integer numbers. So the first Pythagorean triple is 3, 4, 5. If you memorize what those Pythagorean triples are, then you could just look at this problem and see that AC is going to be 4. Okay, let's move on to the next one. And if you'll pause the video here, give this a try, and then come back and we'll go over the solution. Okay, so it says, which of the following is the equation of the line shown in the figure above? So we've got four choices here. If we look at this line, we notice that it goes through the point 0, 2, and we know that slope-intercept form, the b part of that is the y-intercept. So that's going to be y equals mx plus 2. Okay, now to find the slope, and that would actually eliminate these two because these two have a b equal to 4. It's always good to eliminate anything you can because that enhances your chances of getting the right answer. So now we want to determine, is the slope 1/2 or negative 1/2? Well, another thing to realize is that a line going down like this is a negative slope, and a line going up is a positive slope. So that fact alone would allow us to eliminate B and get the answer A. Now, if we want to just calculate the slope, then we could pick any 2 points. Let's pick these two right here. And the slope formula says y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's the difference in the y values divided by the difference in the x values. Okay, so if we call this x1 y1 and x2 y2, we can just plug these numbers in. I do recommend labeling these because when you're transferring these numbers over to the formula, your eyes are going back and forth, and it's real easy to land on the wrong number here and plug it in. But if you have these labeled, it's a lot easier. So y2 we see is 0, y1 is 2, x2 is 4, and x1 is 0. So we have negative 2 over 4, which is negative 1/2. And there's our slope of negative 1/2. All right. Now the third problem, this is the last problem we'll have in this video. Which of the following are the solutions of the equation 4x squared plus 8x equals 8? So pause the video and give this a try and then come back and check. Okay, so let's take this 4x squared plus 8x plus 8, equals 8. The first thing we notice is that we have an x squared term, and we also have an x term. So this is going to be a quadratic equation, and we solve it by one of the methods, either factoring or completing the square or the quadratic formula. But the first thing to do is to get it in the form where ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So we got to get this in that form, so we subtract 8 from both sides. We get 4x squared plus 8x minus 8 equals 0. And we can simplify the calculations by dividing everything by 4, since everything on the left has a common factor of 4. If we divide 0 by 4, it's still 0. And so now we're dealing with x squared plus 2x minus 2. Now we need to use the quadratic formula. So there's our quadratic formula. The a is going to be whatever the coefficient is in front of the x squared. The b will be in front of the x, and the c is the constant. So this becomes negative b, which is negative 2, plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 2 squared, minus 4. A is 1 and c is negative 2, all over 2a. And this now will become negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 4. And we got a negative times a negative, which is positive 8. And that's all over 2 times 1, which is 2. And then we have negative 2 times, or plus or minus square root of 12 over 2. And looks like I'm running out of room here a little bit, so I'll move everything up. Square root of 12 can be simplified to 2 square root 3. If you're not really sure how to do that, refer to a video on simplifying radicals. Over 2, that means everything can be divided by 2, so this becomes negative 1 plus or minus 2 square root 3. I'm sorry, just square root 3. And that is going to be negative 1 plus square root 3 and negative 1 minus square root 3. So that's D. Okay, I hope you've gotten something out of this. And just to let you know, my website is maxmathtutoring.com. You can go there and get a free download of the report called 5 Strategies for Overcoming Test Anxiety. And if you need one-on-one help, you can register for a free consultation, and I'll be glad to help you. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.